Red Wings Live is presented by Arby's. Try the new Montreal, Angus, and Portobello sandwich today. Hello, everybody, and welcome inside the studio. Trevor Thompson alongside the stars of the show, Darren Elliott and Chris Osgood. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Red Wings Live. And guys, speaking of stars, Thomas Tatar named the NHL second star of the week earlier today. He had 4 goals and an assist in 3 games. That included back-to-back game winners. Mike Babcock says that's the guy he pushes the hardest because he believes that kid can be special every night. What did you see from him last week, Oz?
Well, he pushes him hard because he's talented and he's capable of doing a lot for this Red Wing team. And in Winnipeg and also in Toronto, what I saw was a young man going to the net a lot more, shooting the puck a ton more than he was earlier. He's looking to pass all the time. Then the puck started following him around everywhere in Toronto. We had plenty of opportunity to score even more than he did, but he's all over the puck and he's skating. That's the main thing right now.
The thing is, he was the second star of the week, but it's been a really good month. He's only been held without a point in 2 of the 10 games, 10 points total, 7 goals, and also November has been excellent for Thomas Tatar.
And he'll look to stay on a roll tonight as he and the rest of the Wings get to take on the Senators down at the Joe. Let's get you there now to John Keating, who's standing by with so much more on tonight's matchup. Keats.
And Trev, we wish you a happy Justin Abdelkader bobblehead night. It said that home isn't a place, it's a feeling. Go ahead, everybody, hug there. Wings will play 13 of their next 18 games going right up to the new year here at home. The auto show often dictates that on the other side of the new year, they have a good long stretch of games on the road. The creepy Rob Lowe reminded us why some people prefer to be at home rather than being away from home. And from a hockey sense, it's a pretty important stretch of the season for the Wings.
All we can see our schedule in January and February. I think we have 6 home games throughout those 2 months, and so for us to rack up some points here at home, it's going to be huge. And yeah, we know how every game is very important. So we started out fairly well. We know we can do a little bit better, but we want to build off of this, and we got some good things going, and hopefully we can just continue here at home.
We have to concern ourselves with evolving our team and getting our team better. As you know, the road trip we won 2 of the 3 games, and yet, you know, I thought we played about 5 periods. So we got to play better than that if we're going to have success. We got to be more consistent. We got to spend more time in the offensive zone. We got to be a team that wants to shoot the puck more than we've shot it.
The Wings have played 20 times. They're 10-5-5. The Senators are playing their 20th game of the season tonight, so they have a game in hand on the team that they're visiting tonight. Ottawa has alternated wins and losses in each of the last 5, so it's not just a matter of consistency over this stretch of the season. There's also some issue with consistency over the course of many nights. With more on that, downstairs we go. Justin White checks in. J-Dub.
Hey, Keats, if you were giving the Ottawa Senators a grade right now, it would most likely be an incomplete, because that's been the story of their games. Case in point, Saturday night's loss to St. Louis. The Sens were outshot in the 3rd period, 15-5. In fact, over their last 7 games in the 3rd period, the Senators have scored just 2 goals while allowing 8 of them.
Well, you got to set yourself up for good thirds in the second, and we haven't done that very well either. I think we've played games where we have had the lead and we sat back, and then we've played games where we've trailed and we've taken too many chances. So it'd be nice if we can get into a 1-goal game either way in the 3rd and not let it get away from us. But that's been the biggest thing, is, you know, going into those periods, just not ready to do the right things.
Just have a little more confidence in our game and stick to our game when it's in the 3rd. We've had good success in the 3rd period earlier in the year as well, and we just have to make sure that we don't stick to our game and establish our game at the start of the 3rd period.
Now, one thing Paul McLean's Ottawa Senators will have going for them tonight is the return of their 1st-round pick from last year, Curtis Lazar. He's been out the last couple of games with an injury, and coming up later in the show, John, we'll discuss a bit of a hairy situation with Lazar. Back to you for now.
Justin White talks mustaches a little bit later in Red Wings Live. It'll be kind of like seeing Bigfoot or patient shoppers because we're starting to think they don't exist anymore. But if there were to be a Red Wings hat trick tonight, you can bring a copy of the scoring summary to any Arby's tomorrow for a free small order of curly fries. A head coach's face can become craggy at some point, and many of those worry lines are tied to giving up power play goals. That's why Mike Babcock's boyish complexion is helped by the Wings' penalty kill of late. How good has it been? We'll detail that next. They just kind of shrug it off. The Wings' strength this season is their penalty kill. It's been first overall till the stinking Blackhawks had a clean sheet last night. So Chicago, with an extra game played, is 90.3% on their PK. The Wings are 90.1. And while down a man, Detroit is up in swagger.
To be right up there, that's where we want to be. And I think if you ask the guys in this room, that's where we expect to be. And we definitely take pride in it. And I mean, our best penalty killer's got to be our goalie, and they've been great this year for us. And the four guys out there are working as a group. So it's something that's going good for us. We want to keep it going.
How much is structure, and just how much is it the guys digging in?
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing is structure. You can't be on a different page, and you got to have everyone doing the same things on the ice and then ready to go in different situations. So everyone digs in, block shots, and get those big saves.
Tony Granato, new to the Red Wings coaching staff, responsible for the Wings PK. They've only allowed 7 power play goals all season and none in the last 4 games. With more on that, let's bring in the guys from the studio. Darren and Ozzy rejoin us. And when you look at this Wings season, this is something on which to hang one's hat.
It has been a constant, Keats, and it's one of those things that when you take a look at the penalty kill, it keeps them in games. It makes them, it allows them to stay defensively focused. And in last game, it kept them in that game against the Maple Leafs the entire game long. 3 for 3 in the first period. We're going to show you some examples. Look how they collapse down low, Ozzy. They're doing a much better job of that. One guy battles, great support, and then much better, more aggressive pressuring the points.
Yeah, assistant coach Tony Granato certainly have these guys paying attention close to detail. The little things they do right all the time, neutral zone, attacking, getting in the faces of the opposition, and then supporting each other. When the puck does go down low, there's not one Red Wing there, there's 2. And the clears have been almost perfect all season long. Tighter box than they had previously in the last year. And they're sticks in the lanes all the time, helping each other out. Really playing well together under this new style that Tony Granato's brought in. And they've done a great job. And really, it's kept these guys in with the power play struggle. Really, it's kept them in a lot of games.
It really has. And when you saw that last clip, the sticks, the attention to detail, I think much better this year under Tony Granato. And I think you're getting the results, and you're seeing why they're over 90%.
We talk lots about confidence, mostly in regards to goal scores, but the confidence of a penalty kill unit, that seems to be gaining some momentum as we get into the second quarter of the season.
Yeah, for sure, I think so. If you're out there and you're watching Luke Glendening take draws, he's gotten very good at draws. He's winning a lot of those defensive draws, and Drew Miller has been great. Their shot blocking has been excellent. These guys are confident they can block anything and clear rebounds out. They've been great. Friend Jimmy Howard, yes, Jimmy Howard's been good on the penalty kill, but not by himself. The rest of those guys have been fabulous as well. Yeah, your best penalty killer being your goaltender. We didn't show any great saves in there. Jimmy Howard's been excellent, second best in the league in terms of save percentage when down a man, but the guys in front of him really making his job a lot easier when they are on the penalty kill.
All right, guys, right back to you in a matter of moments as Red Wings Live continues. Plenty of options for you for the McDonald's player of tonight's game. The process presented by the new McCafe Fresh Baked Blueberry Muffin, only at McDonald's. Join us post-game to see which of the Wings was singled out. The last time Henrik Zetterberg wasn't happy about how he was playing, he had a monster game, assisting on all 4 of the goals the Wings had in October in Toronto. But with Pavel Datsyuk out again tonight, how much does that change Z's role? That is delved into next.
Red Wings Live is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Motor City Casino Hotel, 1,000,000 miles away, right down the street. Welcome back to Red Wings Live. Trevor Thompson, Darren Elliott, and Chris Osgood with you here in tonight's Miller Lite Breakdown. And guys, the first 5 games of the season, the Wings were without Pavel Datsyuk in the lineup, and it seemed like Henrik Zetterberg took up all the slack. That guy was simply amazing. But the last 4 games without Pav, Hank has 0 points. Ozzy, what's going on in that area?
Well, this is a nitpicking special right here. This is one of the best players in the National Hockey League, Henrik Zetterberg. Why the last 4 games? Well, he's playing against the best players in the other team all night long. Not only trying to play offensively, but trying to defend against the best lines on every other team. It gets difficult. Wears you down, not only mentally, but physically. There's a guy for the job, though. It is Henrik Zetterberg, and he has been playing great. Yeah, the production's down, but, man, he has checked these opposition forwards, some very, very good forwards in Toronto. Bozak, having to follow those guys around all day, and he's done a great job.
Yeah, the thing is, this really isn't so much a knock on the captain. It's that, you know, everyone talks about Pavel Datsyuk. Oh, they're 6-2-2 without him. That's a losing proposition as the season wears on, because it does get more difficult. Even for a guy like Henrik Zetterberg, the matchups, they get more difficult for him because, as Ozzy's talking about, you're getting up there against the opposition's top players every single night. So we need Pavel back in the lineup so Mike Babcock has more options with those matchup issues. Right now, that's one of the reasons why it hasn't been
one of those
productive.
options would be to split Pavel Datsyuk
right.
and Henrik Zetterberg up, to get Henrik Zetterberg away from that top line and provide him with some more room where he's able to maneuver a little bit better against players that maybe are of lesser stature than the top line players on these teams. That every single night he has to go. And let's be honest, he's targeted every single night when Pavel Datsyuk isn't out there. So he's by himself battling, working, and doing a great job for this team.
And then you take a look at Riley Sheahan, Thomas Tatar. They've all of a sudden had some, offensive explosion. Why is that? Because he's been taking the brunt of the opposition's defensive focus.
We'll see what he's able to do tonight against the Senators in the rematch down at the Joe. Now, guys, viewers, it is with a heavy heart that the hockey world announced today the passing of former NHL player and longtime coach Pat Quinn. Quinn's coaching career began in Philly with stops in Vancouver, Toronto, and Edmonton. He's also known for coaching the 2002 Canadian Olympic team to their first gold medal since 1952. Quinn was battling a lengthy illness. The big Irishman was 71 years old. May he rest in peace. Condolences to the Quinn family.
Red Wings Live on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by ZotAuto.com, home of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Ford, Toyota, and Scion. And by Flagstar Bank, a proud and official partner of the Detroit Red Wings. They were outskated. That's what it came down to when the Wings saw the Senators at Ottawa 3 weeks ago. Detroit was outshot 16-2 in the first period and was lucky that the game was still scoreless after 1 apiece until there were about 5 minutes left when Ottawa got a Patrick Wierkosh goal that was the gamer. An empty netter made it a 3-2 final. The Wings were 2-2 against the Sens last year. Well, this is a hockey pregame show, but you know we don't usually let that get in the way. Did you see the catch that was made in the football game last night by the New York Giants, Odell Beckham? It was impossible, but it happened, and the internet broke again in reaction. The NFL police would have our heads if we were to, actually show video of it, but it was incredible. Beyond the fact that it was one-handed, only 3 fingers were needed. And that got us to wondering, and to include the Red Wings, what's the greatest sports moment you can recall witnessing?
Free kick 94. Sweden made a trick play. I think it was could have been quarterfinals or a bronze medal game. I was 14 years old, up at probably 3 a.m. in the morning and saw that.
Michigan State game at Michigan State when T.J. Duckett caught it with disputed 1 second left in the game.
It was disputed by many.
Yeah, disputed by many, and I was there, so that was a big play I saw.
The first thing that came to my mind was we have a soccer player called Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and he's got some really cool highlights from some games, and he had a bicycle kick like from almost half the soccer
midfield.
Yeah, midfield over the goalie, and then like that could be one of the most impressive ones. think it was 09. Dan Cleary against Anaheim Ducks scored with, a minute or two left in Game 7. And they put him up by a goal, and they ended up winning the game. But yeah, I was in the stands here with a couple of my buddies from high school.
All right, and knowing Dan Cleary like we do, I'm going to guess you don't want to tell him that's your favorite sports moment ever.
No, that's just kind of the first one that popped into my head, so we'll just stick with that and make sure you don't tell him that, all right?
Well, there are 6 days left in November when the world and some faces return to some degree of normalcy. You know it to be Movember, when some men, to promote men's health, have been growing mustaches, but most of them have that look, which is to say, boy, that face just doesn't look right with a mustache on it. It's all kinds of scraggly and stuff. Well, the Senators, they're trying to outdo something. And Justin's back with more on that story. J-Dub?
Hey, John, yeah, there are plenty of players across the NHL growing mustaches for Movember, including many of your Red Wings. But this morning, I walked through the Senators' dressing room and noticed a serious shortage of stashes. And I wonder if that has anything to do with the magnificent mustache of their head coach, Paul McLean, who clearly sets a standard unlike any other. Some of the younger Senators doing their best to keep up. But let's be honest, they're just not getting the job done at all.
Work in progress. I think we're just past with week 3 now, and people are starting to notice it. I mean, it really depends on the lighting. So I blame that a bit on the facilities, and I mean, if they can upgrade their lights, maybe get the LED out there and you can see it a little bit. And I guess I could dye it if I wanted, but I mean, that's cheating. And I'm young. I got a lot of potential, and hopefully in a couple years, people will be like, wow.
Now, we notice on this team, there's not many guys doing it. Do you think maybe that has something to do with the fact that your head coach sets such a high standard with his mustache?
I think so. I mean, some guys are probably intimidated. I know for myself, not at all. I mean, it's like I said, he's a good mentor and model, and I guess I can't really talk. I got nothing, let's be honest.
Poor Curtis Lazar. I mean, we had to zoom all the way in with our camera just to see any hairs above his lip, but he is just 19 years old, and Keats, if I'm being honest here, when I was 19, puberty was still at least 3 or 4 years away.
Well, we all had mustaches, at least, and it was a dreadful.
I've seen yours before, and I got 2 words for you.
I had friends. Why didn't somebody tell me I looked like an idiot? All right, Justin, thanks. He's got postgame after the Wings and the Senators tonight. He's got a contract with the Wings for the next 3 years. Stephen Weiss wants to start paying back the first year and change, which hasn't gone well at all for him around a string of injury woes. What's it mean for him to be back in a hockey lineup? He'll tell you next. There's Luke Glendening, kind enough to be wearing a microphone for us during the game tonight. We're going to take all the fun of it, however. We will play back what he says on a tape delay basis as we take you inside the game here at the Joe tonight. The Wings, with the likes of Glendening, are a young team, the only other franchise that have had so many kids step right into the spotlight. The Kardashians. Stephen Weiss was to be a veteran presence for this team this year, and at least in his Red Wing existence to this point, it just hasn't gone well because he just hasn't been able to stay healthy. This weekend he played in back-to-back games for the Griffins, and in those 2 games against the Lake Erie Monsters, he had a goal in each. Confidence breeds confidence, and Weiss is still dealing with the prospects of life off the injured list and within the Wings room again.
Been a while. I was just played Friday, Saturday in Grand Rapids back-to-back, and everything was fine. So I'm looking forward to playing tonight.
How important is it to not do too much, not to try to do too much tonight?
Yeah, very important. I think, especially early, just try and keep it simple. Talk to the line mates, make sure we're just not turning pucks over and try and get on the forecheck and get pucks to the net. All those cliches that you hear about, but that really kind of gets you into the game early and settles you down.
Were there days where you weren't sure this day was coming?
No. I, it's been a while. It's been tough, but I've worked really hard to get healthy and to work my way back into the lineup at least for tonight, and hopefully can stay in there as long as possible.
Stephen's not the only new body on the ice tonight. Jakob Kindl returns, and Brian Lashoff is scratched. It is Weiss in for Dan Cleary, and to learn more about Weiss, visit foxsportsdetroit.com. From here at the rink to Trevor Thompson back in the studio, guys.
can learn more about Weiss right here. Keats, guys, give us your thoughts on the expectations for Stephen Weiss back in the lineup tonight, Darren.
You need him to be productive for his own sake, for the team's sake. 43 games played in the last 2 years, not enough. I expect him to go in and prove that he's a pro.
And difficult, and he's going to have to. He's playing the wing. He's a centerman. So playing the wing is going to be more difficult for him, but he's going to have to do it like Mike Babcock says. It's his chance to try and take ice time, try and take somebody else's position. So it's all up to Stephen Weiss, but I think he's up to the task.
He and the Wings will face the Senators at the Joe for the first time this season, looking for some revenge on that 3-1 loss to the Sens earlier in the month. We'll see how it goes. These guys and I will see you at the end of one. In the meantime, enjoy the game, everybody.